Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Funding Overview webinar sponsored by Prevention Action Alliance this fine December day. For those of you who are in cold and snowy environs, we hope that you are weathering it, staying warm, and staying safe. As we kick off today, I want to do a couple of introductions and cover a couple of housekeeping options. As I'm doing that, please let us know if you have any difficulty with our audio feed. I will do my best to walk you through some corrective actions on the technical side. My name is Brittany Sandage. I am the Director of Coalition Programs here at Prevention Action Alliance. We are based in Columbus, Ohio, and today we're going to be focusing on some of the campus and the coalition funding opportunities that we have for the coming spring. With me today is Technical Sergeant Shelley Corbin and Program Manager Daisha Darby. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. They're going to be walking through our content today. So as we move forward, I encourage you to submit your questions. You will notice in your navigation pane that you have a question section. We will be monitoring that as we go. Between the three of us, we will monitor those questions and we will try to save most of those until the end of the call. So I encourage you to stay on the line. If you are unable to do so, we are recording this webinar today and it will be posted to YouTube and shared with all of you in a post follow-up link. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Shelley and Daisha. Ladies.
Great, thank you. Good afternoon. Sorry, this afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Daisha Darby, and I am the Program Manager for Ohio College Initiative. And I'll turn it over to Shelley.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm Technical Sergeant Shelley Corbin, a member of the Ohio National Guard Counter-Drug Task Force as a civil operator, and I work here at Prevention Action Alliance. Okay, so getting started, this is our 2018 Push for Prevention Funding Overview. I want to thank you guys all for attending, and this shouldn't take no longer than an hour. I would just kindly ask, as Brittany said, to listen, allow us to move through our presentation, write your questions and concerns down, and we'll address those at the end. All right, so Prevention Action Alliance provides communities and coalitions with trainings, consulting, and support to help them launch and enhance their substance abuse prevention efforts through the Ohio Center for Coalition Excellence. The focus is on supporting and guiding group processes so that you and your community possess the knowledge, skills, and accountable actions to make an impact. The resources include the following: Statewide Prevention Coalition Association, also known as SPECA, training and coalition technical assistance, advocacy webinars, and legislative updates. Other additional networks and other tools at Prevention Action Alliance include OYLPN, or Ohio Youth-Led Prevention Network, the GAP Network, which provides information, education, advocacy, networking, and support to individuals who have lost loved ones to overdoses and problem gambling.
So, thank you for that. So we're going to talk a little bit briefly about the Ohio College Initiative. From its origins in 1996, the goal of OCI, or Ohio College Initiative, is to enhance student wellness. And it has been around to help reduce high-risk drinking and substance misuse through campus and community collaboration, and the implementation of strategies to promote healthier campus environments. The Ohio College Initiative provides ongoing training, networking opportunities, and resources to give your campus staff the tools they need to confront challenges of high-risk drinking and drug misuse. Ohio College Initiative only requires, that staff identifies or serve as a community liaison to help share opportunities and information with their communities on campus. So we pretty much provide a lot of training and networking opportunities and activities for those on college. So for many of you who are on the call who are a part of the college setting, this program, OCI, is a great networking tool for those of you who may not be involved, but I believe many of you are involved. With funding from the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services, this opportunity is for community coalitions and or college campuses to enhance or implement environmental strategies in their communities. So these grants are intended to increase the number of quality of environmental strategies in their communities. So these grants are used among colleges and coalitions to foster innovative approaches for promoting a prevention message at the local level. So the primary focus of these stipends will be to address substance misuse. There's a total of $20,000 in community prevention funding. $10,000 is dedicated to community coalitions, and then the other $10,000 is dedicated to college campuses. So applicants may only submit one project application for a 2,500 funding level, 2,500.
As Daisha mentioned, the intent of these stipends is to increase the number and quality of environmental strategies used among coalitions and campuses. Environmental strategies aimed at preventing and reducing community problems related to alcohol and other drugs. Listed are the strategies to consider while implementing your prevention message at the local level. Next. So some suggested project areas. If you don't already have any idea on your project, here are a few suggestions. Promoting prevention within your community or campus, enhancing efforts with a faith-based community, engaging community leaders and stakeholders in prevention planning, or building an existing prevention effort.
All right, so here are some guidelines, general guidelines for the use of funds. Funds can be used for printing or promotion, costs associated with law enforcement strategies, project-related materials, capacity building activities, transportation assistance, coalition only. This part is for coalitions only. Financial assistance for coalition members to gain prevention education, and it's priority given to non-staff members. That means that many of you who have coalitions that are community-based and volunteer-based, a lot of the education opportunities can be utilized, the funding can be utilized for education opportunities for those who are not staffed with that particular agency. Funds cannot be used for school-based curriculum, prom-related activities, equipment, subscriptions, purchasing material from Prevention Action Alliance. No more than 10% of the funding may be used for food and or beverages. No more than 15% of funding may be used for transportation or mileage. The scope of the proposed project must be substance misuse prevention. So the general guideline, the grant guideline, the online application and assurances are due Wednesday, January 12, 2018. Award notices will be sent out Thursday, February 1st, 2018. And the final reports will be due Friday, June 15th, 2018 by 11:59 p.m.
All right, award criteria. Applicants will be judged based on the following criteria: appropriate use of environmental strategies, the engagement of multiple community sectors and or partnerships, innovative approaches to promoting the prevention message, an identified project leader, and ability to complete the project reporting requirements. Anticipated reporting requirements, applicable of all recipients, a brief narrative of the activities, achievements, and or challenges you've experienced over the course of your project, photos and or video documenting the activities of the coalition members and community, number of people reached by the message during the campaign period, a participation in one call or check-in call with Prevention Action Alliance, which we will schedule with everybody on the availability, and we'll get to that later. Final reporting, including activities, partner lists, expenditures, media exposure, and copies of any material developed with these funds, is due by Friday, June 15th, 2018. Failure to meet these deadlines outlined above or in this slideshow in combination with the RFP and assurances will be considered in application reviews for all future PAA projects or Prevention Action Alliance projects. All right, it's a couple more anticipated reporting requirements is, if applicable, please be sure to include your partnership's efforts within specific communities, activities, community leaders, and stakeholders. Partnership with law enforcement and assessment-related activities must be measurable, and these specific criteria can be found in your RFP and your insurances.
So if an applicant applies for $2,500, it is possible that the application will not be funded in full. Yes, that is possible. So once we review, the committee get together and review, we will be assessing the strategy and the timeline and overall need of the suggested line items. And if the committee feels as though they do not want to award the full $2,500, that may be a possibility.
It is also a possibility if we determine that there might be a small adjustment needed in the narrative or in the project deliverables. A good case might be a media campaign that a local coalition or a campus community might be running. If we know from firsthand experience through our reviewers and our experts that money could be better allocated or bolstered in another area of your project narrative, we may reserve the right to make those suggestions to the applicant. So be mindful of that. If you have questions regarding the efficacy of some of the best practices you might be applying for, I do encourage you to reach out here to staff at Prevention Action Alliance. Ask those questions. It is certainly our desire that we see this be successful. This is the third year that we have run the Push for Prevention community stipends, and we have seen with each successive year greater successes. We've been building a network of some of the things that we know to be working locally and some ways in which we can help to conquer challenges. So be mindful of that. I encourage you to use your resources and encourage you to submit additional frequently asked questions for consideration that we would be able to address after today. Daisha, I'll let you continue.
If you receive a coalition development grant as of this year, the question is, can I still apply for Push for Prevention in the spring of 2018 or this current cycle? So yes, and the answer to that is, if you receive a mentoring and regional collaboration grant, you can apply for Push for Prevention. However, if you are a recipient of the Enhancing Environmental Protection Grant, you cannot apply for Push for Prevention in the spring.
All right, so applying online. This process is fairly simple. Use the template provided if possible. Other formats may be accepted, but you should clearly try your best to stick with the format that we have provided with you through the Qualtrics. The system uses a smart logic. You will be asked to choose a funding application level and to indicate your application type, coalition or college. And so with this one, before moving forward in the application process, you must choose one of the two. And the application process will not allow you to move forward unless you choose one of the two. So you may only submit one. If you are partnering with other groups, please choose in advance which party will be responsible for applying. So if you are unsure whether you want to be considered for college or coalition funding, please contact us directly, or even further address it with your group, and possibly you can come up with a solution during that process. Tip one, we want to make sure you are prepared. So prepare your responses in advance. So if possible, try to go through the grant, look at the questions, and prepare them maybe on a Microsoft Word or some type of Word document. Write them out before you submit them to make sure that you have everything that you need. Use Word to save and check character limits and so forth. And tip two, use the templates we provide or submit in a PDF format. So again, if you can't use the template that we provide, try to make sure that when you do submit in a different format, you answer all of the questions thoroughly. And it's important that once you click the blue button, your application will automatically be submitted. So you will receive a confirmation message on the screen to note that you have completed the process.
Some examples of additional supplements you may be uploading or attaching to your application. There will be a separate area for letters of support if you are partnering with a law enforcement agency, if you are partnering with health departments, any other external partnerships. So if you need those to supplement the competitiveness of your application, there will be a place for you to add that in. And that is another area in which we're encouraging folks to do that as a PDF to avoid any sort of corruption that we might have when downloading and using the system. As far as the budget template goes, we want to encourage you to use at least the basics of those that are provided on the home landing page and in the RFP document of the application itself. There are some basic, very minimal pieces of information that we need in order to effectively evaluate your budget. So you feel free to use a more robust version of that, but all of those elementary components need to be present in whatever format you choose to use.
So that concludes Push for Prevention funding overview, and we'll go ahead and get started with any questions that you guys have.
We've had several questions come in so far, and I'm gonna go through them sort of as we can, and if there is an ability for us to follow up with some more particulars, please note that I will submit that to you in the comment in the chat box. So one of the first questions that's come in, when defining community for the campus initiative, are you referring to the campus community or to the local community? Daisha, would you please respond to that?
So, I'm sorry, what was that again? Repeat that.
When defining community for the campus initiative, are you referring to campus community or to the local community itself?
I believe we are defining the campus community. The local community would be in the coalition format, the coalition process. So with that, we believe that many of the campuses have their own coalitions on campus or groups on campus that may be pushing different environmental strategies and different coalition style work efforts. And so we want to make sure that we separate the two. This may be focused more on the college setting and the college campus and the students within that setting. So the campus, this will focus mostly on the campus coalition or the campus community.
Okay, thank you. As far as the campus community and the eligible applicants, it does not matter whether this is the Office of Student Diversity and Wellness or wherever your substance abuse prevention or your education is housed is an eligible applicant for this opportunity. We want to make that very clear.
Right.
If you do have some additional questions, we're going to put up Daisha's contact information here at the end. You feel free to reach out to her with some of those particulars. So another question that's come through that it also applies to the college campus community as well. Given the timeline that we are in finals week, will there be additional opportunities that might give them more planning time? Daisha, can you speak a little bit to your plans to continue the same program for next year?
So will there be other opportunities for this grant? Yes, this will be repeating next year as well. And so if you are unable to apply right now in this moment, you can definitely apply next year, next cycle. Typically, it runs just one fiscal year and you can reapply. And so if you are unable to apply right now, you can apply next year.
From Stacy, we had a question regarding the equipment. She asks, you mentioned that funding equipment is not allowed. Are you indicating computer equipment? If a coalition needs to purchase surveillance in a partnership with law enforcement or other similar things, would that be considered an eligible cost? The short answer is yes. If it is in service to an environmental strategy, particularly an existing partnership, that would be an allowable cost. If you reference the RFP document, you will notice that we have provided a provision for a pre-approval with regard to equipment. We've already received at least one of those requests for a prior approval. Examples of this might be the scanners that you're mentioning here. It could be prescription drop box oriented. It might be equipment that you need in order to carry out beverage server training for your local retail establishments. Things that may be in line with the completion of the environmental strategy itself would be an eligible cost. What we are not going to be funding are things that are for general organizational use. So computer equipment, copiers, things of that nature. Those are not going to be allowable costs. They must be unique and relative to the partnership that is proposed. Ladies, do you have any additional thoughts on the amount of time that it would take to get a pre-approval through? How long can they expect if they were to submit that?
Yes, this is Shelly. I can answer that question. So as far as time, for the pre-approval, we're just asking for a written request, no more than 500 words via just anything email format. You can draft it up in PDF, it doesn't matter. Just get that to us and we will get you a response within 5 business days.
We have another question coming in from Rianne. I am a nonprofit organization and interested in partnering with their local boards. Would I be able to partner with them, but how would I spell that out in the application? So as I mentioned earlier, there is an opportunity for letters of support to be featured in your add-ons to this attachment. What we are looking for in both of these opportunities is a collaborative nature within the community, whether that is a campus-based limited boundary or whether that is the larger neighborhood, city, township, what have you, associated with the community coalition. So what you're going to want to spell out for everyone: what are the geographic boundaries, who are the target populations, and how will you be addressing and engaging those populations? Okay. I jumped in to answer that simply because I think with this particular funding application, we are growing, we are seeing more innovative ideas come forward, and I certainly want to be able to support Shelly and Aisha with some of our agency directives as well. So I hope that that answered the question. If you do have additional thoughts, please don't hesitate to put them into our chat box. We had a question as well from several individuals asking if we would be willing to share some local contacts for colleges and or for community coalitions if you have a more regional idea or multi-community idea in mind. Daisha, would you mind sharing your thoughts on the college campuses?
So the question again is, what is this stating?
Can we help connect them to their local institution?
Okay, so yes, through OCI, Ohio College Initiative, my goal for, I'm speaking specifically for college campuses, my goal is to network and provide resources for 54 colleges involved with OCI around the state. So if you have any questions or need assistance with getting information or resources or contacts at a specific college, I can reach out to the contacts that I have to help you spearhead that connection. And so if you do need resources or additional help or guidance, I definitely can speak on behalf of the college campuses.
Okay. We had a follow-up question regarding the timeline for this application, whether or not this funding opportunity mirrors this particular time frame during the year. Yes, this particular funding opportunity, the Push for Prevention, is unique to the spring time frame within our year. We do that for a couple of reasons. One is to bring increased awareness and increased opportunities for campuses and communities to build momentum prior to National Prevention Week, which is in May, the 3rd week of May each year. So that is one reason for it. The additional reason for that is that we are looking to support initiatives in the spring that we can supplementally find opportunities for technical support, assistance, or enhancement throughout summer and then the subsequent fall. So our objective here is to identify opportunities and innovative solutions, those existing environmental strategies that we can find ways and inroads to further support down the road. We highlight that in the spring in order to be able to do that throughout the rest of the calendar year. Ladies, as we are in the process of wrapping this up, can you each share what you are particularly going to be looking for in your review of the application, whether that is around the data, whether that is around particular engagement strategies? Can you just share with them some of the things that our reviewers will really be looking for on a much more story-based level?
This is Daisha speaking. For myself, in regards to college campuses, I am looking for that collaboration piece. I know that sometimes it's harder to collaborate in some aspects because there are so many things going on, or so many people are doing the same thing. And so I hope to see a larger scale of many people coming together to push those efforts, as well as just some innovative ideas, some things that are new, or showcasing that you are trying different things to push on your campus in regards to prevention efforts.
Yes, and this is Shelley here. I too will also be looking for like applications that involve partnerships, partnering with other nonprofits or other agencies and organizations in your area, because I feel personally that gives a greater impact when you have a lot of people working together. So I typically like to look at how the measurables, and look at how much impact is actually going to be sustained, and what are the key players within your community that are going to help sustain that impact. So yeah, if you guys could include as much or involve as many community members or organizations and agencies, I personally like to look for those things.
Thank you very much, ladies. On a separate note, just speaking on behalf of Prevention Action Alliance, this is an opportunity for you to identify a need, but also to brag about where you have been and what you are proposing to do. So I would encourage everyone to think about the story that your community or your project or your initiative is telling. Make that relatable, make that something that we're going to be able to generate additional public interest in. For those of you who might be interested in the types of projects we have funded in the past, we will make available on our website, and it will be provided in the post-email follow-up, a copy of the OCI annual report from last year, which lists what some of our Push for Prevention recipients at the campus level accomplished. And I can also provide links to some of the deliverables that the community coalitions were a part of. They are varied, they are different, they reflect the culture and the people in which these projects were taking place. We have had everything from a student-driven partnership on campus with public health students and faculty. We've had policy-based work around tobacco and pushing it to 21. We've had issues such as underage drinking, but we've also had a focus on positive promotion with family day dinners. The gamut is wide. What we're looking to see is that story, how it fits your community, and how you're going to be able to measure the impact that it will have. So I hope that this has been helpful for everyone. If you do have eligibility concerns, feel free to reach out to any of us, and the emails for each one of us is currently on the screen at the moment. We are available by phone or by email. What I will encourage each of you to do is to take advantage of this time frame to really look through those RFP and narrative questions and propose to us any questions or fears you may have about being able to meet those. Utilize the optional attachment to your advantage. I say that, and I encourage you not to attach a 35-page supplemental document. That would be a bit difficult for reviewers, but certainly letters of support, or potentially a data report or some sort of measurable chart or documented need in your community that would enhance your argument, that is a perfect opportunity for you to add it there. All right. Ladies, do you have any parting words for folks? As I'm sitting here, if further questions come in, we will seek to address them via email, but at this time, it looks like we're in a good position to wrap up. I'll let you guys bid everyone adieu.
This is Daisha here. Thank you all for listening and taking the time out for taking time out of your day to ask questions and to see what this process is about. To contact me, my email address is ddarby@preventionactionalliance.org. And so you can reach me during that, and I'll go ahead and have Shelley go ahead and say her a few words.
Yes, this is Technical Sergeant Shelley Corbin. If you guys have any questions or concerns, you can also email me. My email is my first initial and my last name as an S, Corbin, at Prevention Action Alliance as well, and we're editing that right now to put that on the screen. Yes, just feel free if you have any questions, definitely send me an email. You can call me at that number and ask for my extension, and we will get your questions and concerns addressed in a timely manner.
Thank you all very much. You can expect your post follow-up within the next 3 hours. If you do not receive it for any reason, please check your spam, or you can reach out to us and request a copy and a link of not only this broadcast, but also of the annual report and some of the supplemental descriptions of last year's recipients, should you be interested. All right. Thank you all very much. We wish you a wonderful holiday season here for Prevention Action Alliance, and have a wonderful day.